New at 5, another danger at the border. Across the country, immigration detention centers have now quarantined more than 2,200 migrants who may have been exposed to the mumps.
In Arizona, Team 12's Antonio Mejia found more than 300 migrants have been isolated in a single detention center in Eloy. She joins us now from the Live Alert Center with the latest. Antonia?
Tram, federal officials are calling it a health crisis, but some say the government is not doing enough to deal with the situation.
We are seeing migrants arrive with illnesses and medical conditions in unprecedented numbers.
ICE officials say more than 2,000 people have been quarantined for months at detention centers across the country. 236 confirmed or probable cases in all.
The system is well beyond capacity and remains at a breaking point.
Here in Arizona, ICE says 345 people were being isolated at La Palma Correctional Facility in Eloy due to exposure of mumps. Detainees are screened within 24 hours of arrival, but ICE says with the increase in the number of people being held at these facilities, it's overwhelmed. But is enough being done? In this letter to the acting director of ICE, some Democrats in Congress question whether appropriate measures are being taken, saying while ICE is expanding its facilities, Congress has received no information about additional health staff or resources.
While our enhanced medical efforts and the creation of new facilities will assist with managing the increased flows, and while we'll continue to do all that we can to address these increases in traffic safely and humanely, the fact is that these solutions are temporary and this situation is not sustainable.
And as of now, there is no indication that the mumps outbreaks at these detention centers is leading to health concerns outside of those facilities. We're live in the Alert Center. Antonia Mejia, 12 News.
Thank you.